Okay, 1 hour day workout, day 77. I'm on the Ab Coaster. Let's see if y'all can see this here. Ab Coaster. Back at Planet Fitness today. Day 77, 1 hour workout. Okay, let's see if we can do this. It's the first time I'm on this machine, so let me see what's the best position where you can see me working the machine. Let's see. Okay, so it's kind of like your knees go on it. You're kneeling on it with your knees. The ab coaster. And you're swinging your bottom. You're swinging your bottom from your hips. You see my feet coming up? My thighs coming up. Maybe I need to put this down a little bit. I can't really get it to show my... Okay, yeah, we can come down a little bit. Alright. So you see my knees are swinging. And then you can turn it to the side. Do the sides. You gotta do each side. My pants is falling down. Let me see if I can fix my pants. Woo. So we're trying a different machine today. Ab coaster. 1 hour a day workout. Woo. Put one knee on at a time. Put the other knee. And you're laying backwards. And you just rock slowly.
Do you know you can now request songs at this Planet Fitness right from your phone? For a limited time, download the WorkOut app, check into your location, and you can browse the music library.
You gotta get used to this.
Now, back to the music.
They say you're not really supposed to be swinging, you're supposed to be going slow. And you're not supposed to be pulling up with your arms. So it's all feet. It's all your hips motion. Woo. Yeah, you gotta loosen up that I see where my midsection is so hard to get rid of because I'm not really working it. Until you get into the gym and then you get on these different kind of machines. Ooh. Half of these machines in here, I don't even know how to use them. I was here Saturday. I did the 1 hour workout. And then I stayed another 3 hours. So I was in here 4 hours. on Saturday, and I couldn't hardly walk. They say you're not supposed to be swinging, you're supposed to be going slow. But this thing got weights underneath it, and it swings. Yeah, so current news. Dante Wright is his name, was killed by a white officer in Minnesota. And she said she made a mistake. And instead of getting a taser, she pulled her gun and shot him. Instead of tasing him with the taser gun, she mistakenly pulled the actual real gun and shot him and killed him. Now, if she was a rookie, I could run with that story. But being the fact that it turns out she was on the force for like 25 years, and you don't know the difference between your equipment, the weight of your equipment, I'm quite sure you know what a gun feels like compared to the taser gun. I don't think they feel the same. I don't think those two pieces of equipment feels the same. You know, because you had to train, you know, with those weapons. And you know the feel, you know the grip, you know how the grip feel. But I can also look at it another way, because I seen a clip of the incident, and it looked like Dante pulled his hand from the cuffs when she tried to cuff him. So she might have been startled and just reached for whatever on her hip and pulled it and shot, you know. You know, because it's a female dealing with a male, and naturally a male is stronger. So I would say that she might have got startled, like freaked out for a minute, you know? Yeah, because he was jumping back into the car, so you don't know what a person is going to do if they don't want to get arrested. You don't know, you know, what the situation is, and you don't know what extent they want to take it. You don't know if, when he was pulling from the cuffs, you don't know if he was going to go for her gun. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she thought that he was going to go for her gun, so she secured her real gun. She snatched her real gun and hurried up and put the situation in check by shooting him, you know. And, you know, that way she had control of the situation. So it's a situation where it's either your life or my life, you know, when the struggle is over. And being that she's a female, she got to go home to her family and her kids at the end of the day. And I say that because I worked for the police department before, you know, working traffic where we didn't have weapons. And we used to have to deal with situations because nobody wanted a ticket. So whether it's a white or a black officer, you know, you face danger every day with each individual that you stop, you know. And basically, you're just doing your job. You're not getting $1 million a year. You know, you're just getting a regular hourly salary, you know. So I mean, it saved your behind and let them ask questions later, basically, you know. But I understand what the overall look on it is. The overall look is, had he been white, would she have taken those actions to pull her gun or a taser? She probably would have not tried to pull anything. She probably wouldn't have tried to harm him at all. She probably wouldn't have used any form of force, you know, to hurt him if he was white, if Dante Wright was white, okay? So that's the issue in the black community. You know, we have incidents where a white guy have a gun on him and they just keep pleading with him to drop his gun and he keeps saying no. I seen one incident on YouTube where the white guy had the gun. He wouldn't drop his gun or anything. And the officers wouldn't shoot him down. They wouldn't tase him. They wouldn't do anything. They just kept talking and talking and talking and talking and talking for a long, long, long time. And the gentleman with the gun was cursing him out with a gun in his hand. So we know if he was black, they wouldn't allow that. They wouldn't have allowed a black man to stay in there that long with a gun, you know. So that's basically the issue. But being that we know that's the issue between black and white, you know, when an officer pulls you over, just go ahead and comply. Go ahead and comply and deal later with your attorney. So at least, you know, they take you in, they lock you up, you go see the judge and you explain whatever you have to explain to the judge. You don't have to hold court in the street, you know, with the police officers, you know. Even if they're wrong for arresting you, just go ahead and get arrested because you don't have no wins, you know. And then you see your day in front of the judge and just explain it to the judge. And it's your word against the officer, which is going to be a very hard thing. But if that officer got a lot of write-ups, or if a lot of people is making that same complaint, you know, then it might become an investigation. So that's my view on it. I think we need to learn how to deal with being arrested and don't freak out, you know, and go ahead in and stand before the judge. Now they say he had prior warrants. He had a prior warrant, so maybe he didn't want to go to jail. And maybe that's why he did a little resistant. Not a little resistant. He pulled his arm from the clip that I seen. She was trying to cuff him. And one of the male officers had his hand on his arm, and when the male officer took his hand off his arm, he jerked his arm from the handcuff and threw his body into the car to sit back in the car as to get away. So that's what sparked the whole situation. Either I'm doing this wrong or this thing is hard on the foreleg. Maybe I'm not crouching back enough. Yeah, but I'm swinging. It's supposed to go in slow motion. Ooh. Yeah, I gotta work this midsection. Gotta get rid of the stomach. So yeah, so it's gonna always be an incident. So my thing is, a lot of people have problems with Black Lives Matter. They're talking about my son and Tamika Mowry and the money that they getting and the money that they spending. But if you pay attention, they keep on being incidents, and this is going all the way back from when I can remember, from when I was younger and Al Sharpton was out there. It would always be another incident. Like, if you're going to be an activist, believe me, you got your work cut out for you. You have a lot to do. And you constantly have to put yourself out there on the front line. And so you fighting for somebody's family that you don't really know personally. You're fighting for a cause. Okay? Well, they're fighting for a cause. And then you have other YouTubers that's just, sitting on their couch at home, sitting in the comfort of their home on a couch safely in their doors, in their house, with their families, comfortable and warm, while the activists like Tamika Mowry and my son is out on the front line. And yeah, they get arrested and they put their hands behind their back and they go ahead and they try to do it in the most peaceful situation. That's because, if the situation get out of hand, if the situation get real out of hand, and their bodies are standing on the front line, and those police start bringing out dogs, or it becomes a big melee, they might get killed out there. It'll be an opportunity to assassinate them, make an attempt on their life. It'll be an opportunity because they are always at the podium in front of the mic, the face off with the police. The police got right here and they're ready already for something to jump off. And their bodies is right there, But something have to happen to us in order for our people to respect our work and, what we're doing. You be fighting for your own people, but they be the main ones that be fighting against you, so, And mind you, all of this stuff is going on in the coronavirus, So you got to come out, represent people, make speeches, be on the front line with crowds of people. The air is not good to breathe. I mean, what do you want from them? And then they get donations, and people is like, "Oh, y'all made money. Y'all raised millions of dollars." Yeah, you gotta raise money because another situation is gonna happen. That's how business is, Just because they may be a non-profit business doesn't mean that they don't need to have savings like a for-profit business. They need to have money available immediately, just in case something happened and they need to run with a team. They might have to run to another state. Everybody have to travel some way. Everybody have to get a hotel or what have you some way or the other, So you can't ask people to put their life on the line, and then you don't want them to make, you don't want them to have any money. Besides the fact that now you got Black Lives Matter and you got White Lives Matter, so you have an opposition. So if you're the leader to this thing, you have to live somewhere safely. You have to safely live somewhere. You can't really be that tangible. You should be living somewhere where you know, there's a doorman or it's a gated community, you know, like somebody have to announce that you're coming through, you know. You know, they just can't live in the hood where people could just walk up in your building, you know, in the projects where the locks is broken and, you know, anybody could walk up in there on them and be all up in the stairs and stuff like that. They can't be living in that type of a situation. They have to invest in security. And security, one of the things about security is, one of the main things is where you're going to rest your head, where you're going to be safe. You know, where people can't really get to you, or if they try to come through your neighborhood, you know, it's a protected neighborhood, gated with security, you know, or a building that has a doorman or, you know, security. You know, when you take on that type of situation, this machine is not easy. I'm thinking about getting on another machine. I'm thinking about getting on another machine. This is hard right here. So this is what I need. I'm gonna do it. Woo! I'm gonna find another machine. That was good, but that's too hard. Can't stay on there that long. Woo. Yeah, so I don't want anybody to think that activism stuff is easy. That stuff is not a joke. And when it comes down to that activism stuff, it's not like you're, you know, you're running the streets. It's not the same thing as you come outside and you getting ready to get on a trip, man. Alright, and let's get this thing set up so I can get to, I just do a walking pace. I was in here Saturday. I still feel the workout I did Saturday. I still feel that. But let's see. Let's do some manual. Let's go. So I'm gonna just do some cardio because you can't go wrong with that. Saturday, a little bit faster. Saturday when I was in here for like 4 hours. And I weighed myself before I left the house. When I left the house, I was 218. And when I got home, I was 212. Like I lost 6 pounds, or I sweated out. I guess, because I was soaking wet with sweat. So I guess I sweated out a lot of liquids or whatever. Hopefully I burned off a lot of fat. But anyway, back to what I'm saying about this activism thing. And y'all criticizing the activists. You gotta remember, they gotta pay for lawyers and everything, because when they stand on the front line and they go in handcuffs and they go peacefully and they're not fighting the cops because, that'll be a losing situation. So they go peacefully, but then they have to go and call their attorney once they get arrested. They have to have attorneys and everything. And however many people get arrested, they gotta bail everybody out. This is very costly. The traveling, the hotels, feeding people. People are still on payroll in a non-profit business. Just because it's non-profit, you think that, everybody's supposed to work for free? The only thing about non-profit is that you have to raise, your money. You have to raise the money. For profit, you have to, find contracts and find income, and you actually have to make the job yourself. You have to keep yourself busy yourself. So you got to keep marketing and advertising. And, people don't really donate to for-profit. I'm for-profit. All my business is the war against obesity. I could have did it as a non-profit to take donations, but my war against obesity is for-profit. Yeah, because the non-profit, you have to have that 501c3 and all of that. So, I just went ahead and did a LLC. But don't think that because they are non-profit that they're not supposed to take donations or have investors where, they stacking cash. That's almost like a war could break out. If somebody in the crowd, while they on the front lines, if somebody in the crowd make the wrong move or a gunshot go off, not on the police side, but on the protester side, it's going to be a hostile situation, and people going to get hurt. If those protesters behind the frontliners, the people on the front line is trying to control a peaceful protest, but then the people behind you start a melee, and the cops is right there ready in riot gear with guns legally that can, that they can go ahead and shoot to protect themselves. And you have people like Tamika Mallory and my son, they might get hurt, get killed, they won't be able to go back home to their family and their kids. So you have to always put yourself in a situation, Put yourself in a situation and see, if that's something that you want to do for people that you don't really know, just because their skin color is the same color as yours, you know, you know. And I know some of you guys say, yeah, I'm outside and I be outside and I be on the block and you on the block and you outside around black people. You out there around your own people, you know, fighting and shooting against your own people. But when you stand in front of law enforcement, you know, a whole riot, police, police ready for something to jump off, waiting for word through their radios, waiting for commands and stuff like that. You know, helicopters flying over and all kind of stuff. You know they got the military and tanks and all of that stuff ready if it get too crazy out there. They're going to calm the stuff down. They're not going to let civilians take over the city. You know, mainly not black people, you know. They're not going to get away like the people, you know, the white group at the Capitol. You know, they was able to break through the gate, barge in. The police was inviting them in, like, come on in, come on, y'all, come on in. Y'all here? Okay, come on in. You know. Yeah, they opened the gates for them and everything. And they ran in there. They was climbing the walls of the Capitol and all of that stuff. Now you think if that was a group of black people, that they would have been successful like that? They was in Nancy Pelosi's office with their feet up all on her desk and, you know, throwing the paperwork around and all kind of stuff. It was almost like a hostage situation, you know. Even though a lot of them lost their jobs once, you know, because there's cameras out here. Once they were seen on that on video that they was at that riot thing, as soon as they can identify, you know, each of the individuals. And some of them, their own family members was telling on them, you know? So, whatchamacallit, I'm going to pick it up today. Some of them, their own family members was telling on them. One lady, she was there with another man, and her husband told on her, you know? Ooh. I'm walking on the treadmill now. Yeah, but if those was black people riding at the Capitol, it would have been much different. So I see some of the YouTubers going back and forth, and I see a lot of YouTubers, they talking about Mysonne and Tamika Mallory. And even if they are in it for the money, you know, even if they are in it to line their pockets, they still putting their life on the line out there, okay? They could still get killed out there any day that they go out there on the front line. You know, some people think it's all an act and they posing with the police and stuff like that. No, it's not all an act and they posing with the police. What they're doing is having a peaceful protest and speaking loud and getting other people involved by, you know, their voices carrying and, you know, the word spreading and they're getting media attention, you know, because they reached that kind of level already, you know. But at the same time, they getting their little donations and they getting their little people investing in their organizations. You have people out here that want to kill them, you know, for fighting for black people, for standing on the front line. I mean, which one of our leaders stood on the front line that, you know, people didn't, you know, people of other races didn't want to harm them, bring harm to them, stop them, shut them up, you know? So, yeah, we here today, baby. But let me tell you, YouTubers, because what I'm finding with the YouTubers is that a lot of y'all are drug dealers, ex-old drug dealers. A lot of y'all are gang members, ex-gang members or whatever, Bloods, Crips or whatever, or y'all OGs, old gangsters that used to be out there shooting, robbing, and killing and all of that stuff. You did that in your own community. You did that in your own community amongst your own people. Nobody don't care about that. Nobody don't care if you hurting your own people. You didn't go to the white community and stick them up and stand on their corners and shoot at them, then you would have had a problem. You would have already been stopped, okay? Or you would still be in jail. Or the police would have came and shot you down already. So when you say you outside, yeah, I'm outside like they outside. You're not outside like they outside. Yes, is being outside in the hood dangerous? Yes. Being outside in the hood is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? At nighttime. Because you could get killed. Just like Tamika and Bowery and my son could get killed on the front lines. But the thing is, you out there for your own selfish, personal reasons. You was out there selling drugs to line your pockets with money. Or you was out there selling drugs to feed your family or your kids, or whatever your reason was. You couldn't get a job, so you had to go hustle, or whatever the situation is. Or, you know, you was hungry, kids hungry, babies need Pampers, and you went and did a stick-up job. Or you know, or you robbed somebody or something like that. That's not the same thing as standing in front of the police force mad about stuff that they get away with. Stuff that even after they do their dirt, even after they go to trial, they get a light sentence. You know? They get off. So it's not the same. That's not the same thing. You're hanging out in the street amongst other black people in the hood compared to them standing face to face against the police department that's already equipped with their ammunition on their hips, with their riot gear ready, protecting their faces. And all they have to do is get a word through the radio. You know what I'm saying? Or some slight stuff could happen. Like I said, somebody else could set it off. You know, it don't even have to be an order from the front lines. It could be somebody that's a regular protester, angry, with a gun, or with a rock, and throw the rock at the police and hit a police officer, or shoot a gun and cause a hostile situation, which in turn turn into a big fight and a melee, because there's a lot of protesters out there. It might not be as many as police as protesters, but they have their weapons on their hip, like I said. You know, they got all that mace and all of that stuff to be spraying in your eyes and stuff. You don't want all that stuff in your eyes, you know. You coming out there, you want to bring awareness to what's going on. And every time it happens, you want to let them know that, you know, the community is going to speak out. And the community is not going to be afraid to speak out. Now, you have people that have excuses that they can't come to the front line. Like me, I won't be on the front line, you know. I'll be 55 in July. I can't run. If something jump off, I'm going to stumble over my own feet and be on the floor getting stampede. I could just imagine I already have a bad back. Okay, so for us who have excuses like that, you cannot criticize the people that's on the front lines. You can't do that. If you at home sitting on your couch making YouTube videos, you press the record button. You press the record button and you popping a whole bunch of crap. You're talking a whole bunch of crap about other people who their lives is on the line. They out there in front of the same police officers that it's the same crew that's, you know, killing black people when they pull them over, whether it's an accident or whatever the excuse is. They thought the cell phone was a gun or whatever the excuse is. They standing in front of those same people with that same mentality that they know that they on a job and the police department is going to do everything and the city is going to do everything to protect their reputation, you know, and try to clean it up or try to place blame on the victim, you know. Yeah. So I'm telling you, if you're doing all that, if you're one of those YouTubers doing all that talking, get your behind up. Put on your boots. Put on your compact boots. Don't put on no new jeans. Put on some old jeans. You see the sweatshirt I got right here? Put on an old sweatshirt or something. And go on the front lines. Don't wear no jewelry. Because see, if something jump off, you might get ragged up in the melee. So, you're out there with a lot of people. Don't wear no new sneakers. Because somebody might step on your toe. You know, and I'm not talking about the officers. I'm talking about just for it being crowded in the protest. So you got to wear boots, old jeans, and, you know, just clothes that you don't care if they get ripped up. Because you might get ripped up, you know what I'm saying? Being out there standing in front of the police, protesting, and something jump off. You know, you got to put on your fighting clothes. So don't ever think it's an easy thing just because you see them put their hands behind their back and they peacefully get arrested. That's not only to save their behind, but it's to save everybody else out there that's protesting. Because if Mason decide, hey, I'm going to punch one of the police officers, then they going to go off. Everybody going to get it, you know? Like what's happening in Minnesota. They jumping all over the top of the police cars and doing all that destruction and stuff. And so the police got like, the whole air, it smelled like tear gas. They got tear gas, like when you breathe. Now, we supposed to be protecting ourselves against the coronavirus, And now they got coronavirus and tear gas in the air. When you breathe, on the news, the lady was saying, the journalist, she was saying, oh boy, you can't even breathe out here. It's all in the air. The tear gas is, it's all in the air. And besides, you don't want all of that stuff in your eyes. And if you're an OG or you're an older person and you can't go out there yourself and be out there with them, you feel like you got a bad back, you got bad knees, you too heavy, you're not in shape, to be out there, you really can't talk. You can't talk about them. I don't care if Black Lives Matter made 90 million. Their organization has brought attention all around the world, not just in the local community, all around the world. When Black Lives Matter come out, everybody come out. Antifa, the underlined people, everybody else come out. So they said one of the ladies, she bought some properties. And the thing is, okay, so she's spending millions on properties. Okay, cool. She bought 4 properties. But if you was a frontline activist or if you was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter and you know that them white supremacist people is after you, you know that you done put yourself in harm's way. Wouldn't you want to have multiple properties where nobody don't know where you at all the time? Somebody find out your address. You know how easy it is for somebody to find out your address on the internet. So you don't want them to think that, hey, she's here all the time. She have to have different locations in good communities, not in the hood. So if she's paying $1 million for each property, that's not bad. Because if anybody knows New York real estate, you could have a $500,000 property right here in the hood. That's not a lot of money for a house in New York. You'd be right in the hood with a $500,000 house. You might have a nice one, but you still be in the hood. You're not in Westchester. So basically, if she spent $1 million on a house in New York, it would basically put her in Westchester County. A little better community where, I guess she look over her shoulders all the time because she's a founder of Black Lives Matter. You have to, you have to watch every step, you got to watch your step, So I have no problem with them raising money. And the more money that they raise, it's good. Because you don't want Black Lives Matter to be poor. Do you really want them to be poor? Imagine Black Lives Matter only have $10,000 in the bank or $50,000. What they gonna do? They can't really operate. They have to have millions of dollars in the bank. I just gotta put yourselves in a situation. Imagine you was the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. Wouldn't you want a whole bunch of hideouts? Wouldn't you want to hide out? Or wouldn't you want so many properties that they don't know which property where you at right now? A lot of y'all didn't come from families like that. I came from a family, a civil rights family, where they wasn't as big as Black Lives Matter, but basically they was fighting the unions and the white boys for jobs on construction. So it was like a civil rights movement. you know, helping guys come out of jail, helping them get jobs and stuff. So that's why I be talking about it like that, because I know the trouble. I know the trouble when I was a kid, and I was staying with my sister, and they used to be doing all kinds of stuff. They used to be blowing up their offices. They used to be stealing her car. And she lived in a white neighborhood. We was living in a white neighborhood. They kept doing a whole bunch of stuff to her. Put you out of commission if they steal your car, you walking, or you taking a cab, you can't roll around whatever vehicle, whatever bus or tour bus you're using to move the people around. If they blow that up and burn that up, you ain't got no bus to move your people around to the places. So don't think it's that simple and easy and peaceful, just because it looked good in front of the cameras. The reason why things ain't jumping off as bad as back in the days is because they didn't have that many cameras. So now that a lot of cameras is watching, the police officers have to watch what they do, It's just like we're, in the streets, niggas just can't stand in front of the building, and gangs can't just stand on the corner no more because they got cameras everywhere watching you. Then they got the RICO law and conspiracy and all that stuff. So if the cameras catch you hanging around a group of people or standing out there, it's the same situation. You're guilty. You're getting caught by the cameras now, So that's why nobody can make a real slick move, really, As much as they probably want to do something slick so that they could bring the dogs out and start tasing people and bringing the paddy wagons out to lock everybody up, And shoot, there's a lot of things after getting arrested. So many times, it's a lot. Nobody not gonna want to hire them for a regular job. So you could dead that if you're an activist and you're trying to go work for a job. So that's why when Tamika Mallory did that Cadillac thing, I was like all for it. Go ahead, girl, make your money. Put that money in the bank and save it, And, get life insurance policy. Put money away for your kids just in case something happened. And, okay, getting arrested is okay, but suppose you get killed in the front line, out there fighting for somebody else's family, and your kids is waiting for you to come home. At least you stacked up some money so that your kids could grow up and be okay and go to college and, have a life. Because this is the job that you chose. I understand the other side of it where people are saying, oh, you're getting all of this money and you're in it for the money and money came about. Yeah. Well, people donating or whatever, or people investing, because there's a lot of people that feel guilty, There's probably more white people donating to the Black Lives Matter than it is black people. Because they feel, the ones that feel guilty, not all white people are prejudiced. When Martin Luther King was out there, he had, white people walking with him because they, people can't stomach it, you know. They can't stomach. They couldn't. There's a lot of white people that couldn't stomach slavery. You know, that's why Harriet Tubman was able to do the underground tunnel, because there was white people that was like, you know, this need to stop. You know, it make you nauseous just to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, slaving people and whooping them and, you know, mistreating other humans and stuff. And, you know, that's something that'll turn your stomach if you any decent individual. You know what I'm saying? So while you black YouTubers are complaining, there's a lot of white people that's donating, and they might not put their bodies out there because this is the way they look at it. I'm not going to be out there, so I'm going to just donate to the cause, and that's my thing that I did. And that's how they see their contribution to help out, because they don't agree with their own people. You know, they don't agree with their own people. Let's have it goes 35 minutes, but it goes 30 minutes at regular speed, and then it gives you a 5-minute cool down. So we're in Planet Fitness today. My hour's almost up. But I just wanted to say, for you guys that get pulled over by the police officers, don't make no false move. Go ahead and get arrested. Matter of fact, line up your lawyer right now. You know, go ahead and, you know, I know lawyers are expensive, but even with the legal aid department, find out if anything may happen to you in the future, who can I call? Who is a good lawyer? You know, you working, save money for that type of stuff. You know, just in case you get into a situation where you get arrested and you don't believe that, you know, it was, you know, it was just cause that you was arrested, and you think that they was just targeting you because you black. You know, save your money for lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Stop smoking so much weed. Stop buying so many bottles. Stop spending so much money at the liquor store, because you know you're black, and you know if you're a man, and you know if you're driving, mainly if you're driving a decent car, and it don't even have to be a decent car. You know, when police officers go out there to do their job, they don't go to the white community to, you know, target people. They go to the hood and the ghettos and stuff, you know, where black people and black and Puerto Ricans is at. So since you know that, work and save your money just in case you need an attorney. You know, that's why people buy houses and assets and stuff. So just in case something jump off and they have to bail themselves out, or they have to get a lawyer and fight a case or something like that, you know, they have the money to do so. You know? And don't resist. You'll have your day in front of the judge, in court and in front of the judge. You know, even though you might not get a fair shake there, but you can try. And you try to get a good attorney to fight for you. And, you know, you YouTubers, last message. You YouTubers, leave those frontline people alone unless you're going out there with them. And then, you know, you walk a mile in their shoes. And you see what it feel like. It don't feel good. You know, my son keeps saying, oh, I'm not scared and stuff like that, but you know something could jump off. And if a melee jump off, that he could get hurt, he could get killed. You know, we all bleed, we all could die, we all could, you know, and ain't nobody no superhero where they could just take a bullet and, you know, keep on walking. You know what I'm saying? So all of them activists are putting their lives on the line, you know, for the rest of us. And one thing that I'm experienced and I know about the black community, the same people you be fighting for is the same people that'll backstab you and you know, turn against you. You know what I'm saying? So they working for black people, and then they got black people that's saying, oh, you know, you shouldn't be getting no money. You should just be poor. You just should be doing it for free. Okay, so leave them alone. Before you make another video about them, let's see you go out on the front line in one of those protests and do what they did first, and then come back and let me know how you feel. And you know, these incidents keep arising. They don't stop. They keep arising. So you just got to keep putting your life on the line. You got to keep putting your body out in the front line. And you know, every time you go out there, it's a chance that you might not make it home to your kids. So do you think you want to do that for free? You think that, you know, you're supposed to be poor, living in the projects, in the ghetto, you know what I'm saying, doing that type of work? Or do you think you should be somewhere living safe, secured, and maybe having several different locations where, you know, people can't just track you down at one location all the time? You see what I'm saying? I'm looking at it differently. I don't know about y'all, but, you know, even if they do want to purposely line their pockets or whatever the situation is, so be it. They're putting their life on the line. You not. You sitting on your couch in your house in front of a camera with your door is locked. You know what I'm saying? All right, so peace. It's not the same thing as you running around in the street in the hood amongst other black people. Standing, protesting in front of the riot police is totally different. Okay, so peace. That's it. I'm out. Y'all be safe out there.